Jody, only a couple of days preparations ahead of another big league game. What's the focus been over the last 48 hours?
Recovery, first and foremost. We've got quite a few players in the group that are very new to playing 90 minutes. Players that are maybe sort of on the borderline of hitting inside the red zone as far as the risk factor. So recovery is big. And then obviously starting to refocus, obviously touching on a couple of things from the game at the weekend, both positive and negative. But yeah, like I said, the main thing really is recovery when it's such a quick turnaround and kind of the state of the squad, if you like.
And how do you manage sort of bumps and bruises? It might not be the bigger injuries, but the little knocks that players get in games. There's not a lot of time to recover from those either, is there?
Yeah, well, obviously that's what the medical department's there for. You've got to trust the players that they're doing everything they can to help their recovery. They've got to look after themselves, and also there's elements of that when we're even at the game at the weekend. You try and manage minutes because you know that of the risk factor that would obviously jump up a little bit if certain people were doing a little bit more than you'd want. But then sometimes certain situations in games or scheduling can mean that you kind of have to do that. But yeah, so obviously looking forward to the weekend, looking at where we can maybe freshen up, or where there's elements that you need to kind of keep an eye on people for from the fitness aspect and the physical aspect, because of that they haven't played much football at all for a long time. So mainly that really is as far as the focus is concerned.
And has there been much reflection on Saturday's results?
Yeah, well, we spoke about it a little bit yesterday, and then again today, just a pre-meeting before going out. And like I said to you guys after, there was plenty to be pleased about. But just obviously for us to get better and improve, we need to take out some of the silly mistakes that we're making. And more from a, like I said, it was a tough one, and I was torn with how I wanted to talk to him after the game. And you still have an element of that even today when we're talking about the set piece side of stuff, because like I said, it's not so much just the whole focus on actually conceding at the set piece, which is obviously something you want to improve on, but there's elements of putting ourselves in positions where we're going to concede set pieces is just as important as actually defending the set piece in itself. So like I said, but there was a lot of positives and things that you can be looking back with a pleasing eye, if you like. Certainly you've been watching the game back just for half hour. We was quite clearly the better team, and like I said, that is what makes it more difficult to take. But at the same time, you've got to be ready to move on. And hopefully, if we can replicate that sort of form that we had for half an hour, and even in the first half, there's elements of it being a scrappy game, but I felt that we kind of earned the right to be able to play in the second half because of how well we was competing in the first half. So, but obviously trying to take that into the next game and see if we can maybe get the points that we deserve.
Walsall awaits tomorrow night, a tough trip there. What sort of test are you expecting?
Well, always difficult. Like I said, a physical one for starters, and even from a set-piece aspect, it was even kind of, when we was addressing the game at the weekend, we was kind of talking about the tough couple of games that we've got from a set-piece aspect that was coming. So yeah, we're going to get, a real physical battle, and they're not on their greatest run, but at the same time, things can change really quickly in this game. And like I said, we just need to make sure that we're physically ready and mentally ready and prepared, and have got no kind of hangover from the fact of such a huge disappointment of not getting anything from the game. Like I said, I think we deserved minimum a point, and the chances that we missed, and even their manager says after the game it was daylight robbery, that the fact that they've come away with 3 points, let alone a point at the weekend. So we've got to make sure that there's no hangover from that, and we're fully focused and confident going into the game.
And we've had a few physical battles over the last few weeks, but the players seem to really compete in well in that respect. That must be encouraging.
Yeah, no. I know we've touched on it before, but we've made good progress on that side. As I said, we've been sort of breaking season records for distance covered and elements of their physicality that is coming out not only from training but coming out in games. And that's obviously why you do it, because you want to see improvements in those areas, and we've been getting that. And like I said, part of the reason why we did compete so well at Leyton Orient and competed so well in the first half at the weekend was purely because of the prep that we've been doing. So we want to keep trying to build on that. It gets difficult when you have games that are midweek as well. That's where you obviously have to taper it off, but obviously communication between the medical department and us needs to be clear, and need to be working in tandem to try and make sure that you can keep improving and hitting individuals, but making sure that you're not putting anybody at risk. And I feel that we're trying to do that this week.
And I know it's important not to focus too much on an opposition's previous form, but I think it's 11 without a win for Walsall. Is this a good opportunity to try and get a result against a side that might be short of confidence at the moment?
Well, I think we've got to look at every opportunity we can to try and get any points. Now, whoever that's against is irrelevant. Like I said, a lot of people didn't think we'd maybe be getting much at Leyton Orient, and I've certainly standing here knowing the amount of games that I've been in charge, we are certainly shy of the points that we've deserved. Now, that doesn't kind of ever come out when you're looking at league tables or like runs of games or whatever, but it's important that the players know that, and you need to remind them that we've been in some really good positions. We've earned the right to play our game at times. We've improved in certain areas that we were clearly lacking in, whilst having to deal with some horrendous injury sort of like runs. So that with suspensions, I think the lads have done really well. And like I said, there's certainly areas that we need to improve, and small little tweaks that we can make, or giving the lads the best opportunity to go and perform and win again is what our job is. But at the same time, knowing that it's coming from a place of, look, the proof's in the pudding. We've got plenty of clips from the game at the weekend to enhance the things that we've done well, and making sure that we try and repeat that, because I think if we play to that level, then we'll give a lot of teams problems like we gave Carlisle problems.
And just finally, the attacking prowess that the side showed on Saturday was really encouraging. How important could that be tomorrow night, mixed with that physicality as well?
No, it's always important. There's no point. I've never set up a team to just go and kind of stifle opposition. I always want to stifle and negate opposition's attacking threats, with the hope that it's then going to be translated into us causing them problems. And like I said, there's moments throughout my time at this club at the moment where we've certainly let ourselves down in possession of the ball, and the quality didn't quite come out again. Like I said, I felt we created enough chances to win, but also not clear-cut chances, but real clear opportunities to create that final pass, which would then set up a glaring opportunity, and we kind of let ourselves down with that final pass. But it certainly gives you confidence watching him play for a long spell of dictating and dominating a team that's second in the league. Like I said, we've got to take confidence from that, but also remind ourselves that just because they're second in the league and we've done that against them doesn't mean that we're going to do it against everybody. And we need to make sure that when we are on top in games and having good spells, that we capitalise, because ultimately I feel that the game should have been put to bed before their second goal.
All the best tomorrow night.
Cheers, mate.